Hello, hello. Welcome to the Five Talents Podcast. I'm your host, Abel Pacheco. I interview the top commercial real estate investors and industry experts so you can learn from their experiences. So if you're an investor, a high W-2 earner, or real estate or tech sales professional that wants to invest in real estate without having to manage properties or leave your day job, then this podcast is for you. Or if you're already investing in real estate, but you're doing it part-time and you want to become a full-time multifamily or full-time commercial real estate investor, this podcast is for you too. You're going to learn a ton. You will learn from real-life multifamily investors and other professionals in the industry. They're going to share their blueprints for success, and I'm super excited that you're here. So I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, hello. This is Abel Pacheco, your host for the Five Talents Podcast. We are super excited today because we have another amazing guest, Mr. Greg Reid, which just excited to have you. Greg, how's it going, brother?
Amazing. I think you had me on because we have the same haircut and get two for ones. That's what the real truth is, right?
That's probably 100% it. I saw you. I go, there's another man who knows how to style a cut and instant rapport, instant likability in my book. So anyways, Greg, thanks a lot for coming, my friend. So, Oh, go ahead.
No, absolutely. I've been looking forward to this for a couple of days. It's kind of neat to reach out to people in different genres outside my own. You know, we're into personal development, films, movies, TV shows. And when you talk about the power of residual income in real estate, and especially commercial real estate and multifamily homes, is spectacular. So I applaud you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And if you don't know Greg, I'm gonna let him introduce himself, but he's really inspired millions of people to take personal responsibility, step into really the potential of their greatness. I heard his story a little bit. I'm so lucky to have run across him on Clubhouse. So you've heard me say this a few times. If you're not on there, you're probably missing out on a great networking opportunity. But Greg's been published in over 100 books, 32 bestsellers in 45 languages, titles like Stickability, The Power of Perseverance, The Millionaire Mentor, 3 Feet from Gold. And there's so many other things that you've done. Let me turn it over to you for really a proper introduction. Just tell us a little bit about like who you are, what you do, and we'll just start a great conversation, Greg.
Yeah, everyone. My name's Greg. I live here in the mean streets of San Diego, California, a little beach town called Carlsbad. Happen to write books, make films. I'm working on some TV shows, and we do a live event once a year called Secret Knock. But you talk about, writing all these books and all this stuff. It sounds so awesome, but here's the truth. I'm the most unqualified guy to do what I do. I can't read, I can't write, I'm dyslexic, and I can't spell. But if you play me Words with Friends, you'll win every time. So you work your strengths and you hire your weaknesses. And that's all I've ever done. So I understood the power of, explore what I'm very good at. And then I surround myself with people that would literally play at something I have a challenge with.
Man, that's awesome. I 100% agree with you. It sounds like some people are more successful than others. You are the individual that's taken this and really leveraged other people's knowledge, experience, and pulled a great team together and have had success over and over again.
Yeah, and surround yourself with people that are getting the results you want. Look, when I wanted to be a best-selling author, I went to the bookstore and I went to the best-selling book section. I didn't go to the best written books. I didn't give a crap. I didn't want to be a great writing author. I wanted to be a best-selling author. And I asked them, how does it work? I surrounded myself with them and I picked their brain and I found my own little system, and here we are today. And so the key to success is to literally surround yourself with people who are doing what you want. Look, you mentioned this book, The Millionaire Mentor. When I did this one, I was turned down by 268 publishers in a row. This is my first book. I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh, 268, Greg?
I suck. And so the whole thing is I'm just not good at writing. It's not my skill set. And finally, I sat down with the publishers and said, be honest, what am I missing? And they go, your message is great. Your writing's horrible. And so I got a ghostwriter, and they took my words and crafted them in a way people would want to read it, went on literally to multiple languages all around the world. And one quote from this book, which you've seen 1,000 times, was shared 37 million times last year. Listen to this. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal broken down becomes a plan backed by action makes your dream come true. I was turned down by 268 people in a row. Now millions upon millions of people get inspired by this one little thing a day. The fact of the matter is, watching this, what is a challenge that you're going at that you could duplicate your efforts with someone who rocks at that, and together as a collaboration, go on to inspire many.
Man, I have heard that quote. I did not know that was yours from your book. And there, and there you go, my
Isn't that
brother.
great?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
amazing. Super inspiring.
XRP is that the new thing? What's the new real estate?
Yeah. Either XRP or XCP, EXP.
EXP, yeah, the new real. They use it as their banners and stuff like that. And I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Because again, though, the moral is never let another person or yourself talk you out of what you know to be true. First, there's a dream, then there's a challenge, and then comes victory. Most people quit in the challenging times. And it's the people that persevere and keep going. They're the ones that we tell the stories about today. So the key is who's getting the results you want. In fact, I did a book. It's called Power of Proximity. Surround yourself with the people that are doing. But this is a good one for everybody. It's called Sellership. Just came out with it last month. Brian Tracy wrote the foreword of it. It's teaching people how to become great sales leaders. Everyone talks about sales, like how to go a market, but they don't teach how to train amazing sales leaders to go on and inspire others. You never want to take your top salesperson off the floor and put them in that position because you're losing a great asset. So what you do is you find the great people you can uplift and encourage, and they can go on to inspire others.
Yeah, I was a sales director, sales leader, sales strategic, whatever partner for years and years in IT, and we had a 60-person sales team, and people would ask like essentially how to develop that team, how to build it, how to create it, and I'm imagining a lot of those things that in the book. There's a few things that I just learned from other great leaders, and a few that I picked up along the way, but. Always trying to figure out how to create the next best leader, and the development platform is pretty awesome. Well, that's cool. I'm excited to check that book out too.
I'll share some of this. It's kind of interesting. This is my latest movie. It's called Wishman. It's trending worldwide right now on Netflix. Go on Netflix. You watch it tonight. And it's interesting. I was interviewing the founder of a nonprofit called Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's a charity that grants wishes to terminally ill kids. And I asked the founder what his wish was, and he said no one asked him. I said, "Well, I'll grant your wish. What do you want?" And he says, "I want my story to be told. Took me 7 years, and you have no idea the trials and tribulations. But we made the final list for the Oscars on the ballot last year, and now we're trending worldwide on Netflix. And guess what? I never ran a camera. I never did casting. I didn't even show up and do coffee for people in the morning. I just produced the movie." So the idea is I worked my strengths, and I hired and surrounded myself with experts. And by doing that, went on to inspire tens of millions of people.
I love that. That's just so, it's so inspiring. Hold on. Let me pause here. We know Make-A-Wish Foundation. I know many millions of people know that. To have the individual that kind of started it off and ask him the question, "What's your wish?" Well, no one's ever asked me that. And Greg, thank you very much for doing that. And that's so amazing. And so now we get his story out there. And another point to this is, well, you don't, like you said, I don't know how to make a movie, and I don't know how to act or write a script, but you pulled it all together, and you're the front end of, and you're the person that essentially made this thing happen. That's just awesome.
And people sit there and go, "Oh, it's easy for you." Now listen to me. Not one person watching this has ever seen me a day in your life, and neither has anyone I reached out to. So that's BS. So knock that crap off right away.
Yeah.
So here's how I did it: is I went to a very secretive website that no one knows about to find a writer, a screenwriter for this movie, because I didn't know what to do. And so I pulled out an ad on this website. Just don't tell anyone about it. Okay, it's a secret. It's called Craigslist, right? I went on there for $25, ran an ad. The guy who answered it wrote the movie, produced it, directed it, and we went on to win film, all these awards all over.
Oh my gosh.
And the fact of the matter is, everyone sits there and has these excuses. God, it drives me nuts. Get off your ass, shut up, and start taking action. The universe will reward those who take massive action toward their success. There'll always be challenges, there'll always be setbacks, but keep moving in spite of it.
Oh man, I am ready to run through a brick wall right now, my friend. This is that's 100%. Everything that I've done in real estate, everybody that I've talked to and interviewed, when I've interviewed people that have hundreds of millions of dollars in their portfolios, several $billion portfolios, more than 2 or 3 of them, it's about taking action. And a lot of people don't know the final outcome or even midway through how it's going to go, but you just keep taking the next action, the next action, the next best step, and the next best step. And, at the end of it, it's the days pile up, and so do the weeks and the months and the years, and success comes out on the other end. Just stay with it. Stick to itiveness is.
Oh, wait a second. I think I got a book for that around here. So, it's funny. I wrote the book Stickability, obviously.
I love it.
And it was funny because a lot of people know this book. It's called Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
This is kind of the Bible of personal development, right? By Napoleon Hill. Well, in 1908, he was given a letter by Mr. Andrew Carnegie to go meet his friends to write the first ever formula for success.
Yeah.
Well, 100 years later to the date, the Napoleon Hill surviving family, the grandkids, and the foundation gave me the same letter. So basically, I have a ticket to meet any human alive. In fact, we went back to the archives. This is one of the last books he ever signed before he died. And so my full-time job is I travel the planet to meet the most powerful and influential humans, and then I tell their stories in books and movies. Not a bad gig who can't spell. And so the idea is, again, work your strengths and hire your weaknesses. And the first book we did was this one called 3 Feet from Gold, from the first chapter of Think and Grow Rich. It's a story about R.U. Darby, who gave up 3 feet away from the largest strike in history. With the moral being, how many times have we or someone we know quit one class short from a degree or sales in marketing? Everyone's seeing the internet memes of the miner who just gives up and another guy just goes 3 feet. And it seems like that's the biggest thing that holds people back. All football championships are done at that last 1 yard line, that 3 feet going into the end zone. And it's the people that are willing to get dirty and gritty and go that extra, no, not extra mile, but the extra 3 feet. They're the ones that come out on top.
Man, that is amazing. Yeah, 100%. It's a game of inches, and a few inches don't ever give up. And once you get there, you cross the finish line. Nobody ever, you look back and it's like, no, I made it. I did happen. It did occur. Success did happen, but you got to keep grinding.
Yeah, this is a great one. This is the last book Napoleon Hill was going to do before he died, but he never got a chance to. So they gave it to Sharon Lecter, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad with Kiyosaki and I. And we did this one, and it was really cool. We interviewed this guy named Fred. For all you entrepreneurs, you'll like this story. And you don't know Fred, but he invented something called the jet ski. You sit down on the water and ride it like a motorcycle. And I asked him, I go, how successful that was for you? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I sold the patent for 75 grand. And I went, holy smokes. He started talking about something else. I go, Fred, let's go back and unpack that. I go, that's $1 billion brand. He goes, absolutely. I go, but you sold it for 75 grand. He goes, yeah. I go, that's got to kill you. And he goes, no. He goes, you don't understand. At that time, 75 grand was all the money in the world to me. He goes, I was about to lose the family house that's been in our, family for generations. He goes, I got caught up. And more importantly, my employees got caught up. And he goes, it was the greatest peace of mind I've ever remembered. He goes, I slept all the way the night through. And he goes, I had free time for the first time ever because I wasn't stressed and I was going through the attic. I found these little metal die-cast cars I'd play with as a child. A buddy of mine's in NASCAR, so I put his number on the side and gave it to him. The other drivers, they wanted one too. They got jealous. So much so that NASCAR came up and bought the rights for $151 million. He goes, sometimes as an entrepreneur, you have to do a deal in order to get you through to do another deal.
Yes. I love it. And oh man, that's amazing. I lost for words here, Greg, honestly. So hold on. A couple things you mentioned. Sharon Lecter, Think and Grow Rich. You and I work together. Tell me a little bit about this. How have y'all worked together and what have y'all done? And maybe just highlight that. So somebody listening is like, and also explain who Sharon Lecter is so that you hear this too.
So Sharon Lecter wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and she created a game called Cash Flow.
Which everybody on this show knows right now. Like 95% of the people I talk to say, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that's what got me started on all of my real estate investing career. So go ahead.
Well, as soon as her and Robert split up and Robert just ran with the brand, she teamed up with me and we wrote our first book, 3 Feet from Gold, together. And then after that, she did Outwitting the Devil. She did Think and Grow Rich for Women. And I did Stickability and Thoughts Are Things with Bob Proctor. And we've been working and writing these books together through the Napoleon Hill Foundation. So basically, her and I travel around the planet and we meet these amazing humans, and then we get to tell their stories of what they've done. And we keep realizing the common denominators that are just regular people who did extraordinary things. Look, the people that are the most successful, the millionaires and billionaires, aren't the ones you see in the news. They're the cardboard kings that made all their billions in cardboard or whatever. And we realized that one of the greatest lies ever told was to find your passion and the money will follow. What you want to do is find the greatest opportunity, capitalize on it, and make so much wealth and prosperity. You use that to finance your passion. So we realized that people that are millionaires and lost all their money, they usually did it following their passion. But no billionaires lost all their money because they understood the power. And the sheiks in the desert have no passion for crude oil any more than the Gettys did. Waste management has no passion for dirty diapers and rotten cheese. And aggregate dealers have no passion for sand and gravel that builds the freeways. But they're also the people that created all the universities, the ballet, the arts, the teams. And we hang out with the people that created the NFL teams and the stadiums, where people following their passion are given their brain matter for a few $1 million on the field. And there's a big difference of dichotomy of how you see things. So throughout these books, we share people the simple steps of how to get what you want by simple common sense actions.
So that's awesome. For you listening today, if you're a passive investor or an active investor, hearing this show, rewind a couple shows, because I just had Sharon Lechter on our podcast as well, Greg. I don't know if you knew that, but we had her on our podcast. She has an amazing story as well. What I didn't know is you all were connected on these books, and that was just, that was not intentional that I had you here, but it's very intentional that you're here, brother. So thank you very much. Very serendipitous for us. And I'd love to hear more about this, the actions or the steps you had mentioned. So following your biggest opportunity, making as much as you possibly can, whether it's capital, resource, what we're talking about is investing, and then going to invest your time, energy, and effort. You have more time or freedom to go follow your passion, which was amazing. You said you've been showing people steps to get there. Please elaborate on this, and please illuminate some of these steps so we can all follow in our own area, in our own lane.
Well, listen, I got 3 really good nuggets for people on this stuff. And again, I want you to read the book. So go pick them up, and then you'll get it and hold it in your hand, and you'll have the actionable steps. Mm-hmm. I did this one. It's called Thoughts Are Things. This one's called Wealth Made Easy. Wealth Made Easy and Thoughts Are Things are the 2 most powerful books I think people can get a hold of right now.
Wealth Made Easy and Thoughts Made Things.
Thoughts Are Things with Bob Proctor and Greg Reid. But Wealth Made Easy, I went around and interviewed people worth $100 million to $1 billion for 3 years. That's all I did, hung out with billionaires. And I kept finding, I go, what is the common denominators? And, how does this stuff work? What's your wealth hack? Cut to the chase. And the first guy was a billionaire, and he made all of his money in dirt. I go, how in the hell did you make all your money in dirt? And he said, time plus land is money. I go, what do you mean? He goes, all I do is I look for a town anywhere in the country that's growing exponentially at 25% a year. Go on Google Maps, it's free. He goes, I look for Broadway, Main Street, and I draw a line out with a piece of paper, 8 miles, and I buy the dirt. That's it. I rent the dirt to farmers. They pay the lease on the land, so it's free, and I get vegetables for years. And as the town continues to grow at 25%, eventually ends up on my plot. Since I'm on Broadway, Main Street, I own the biggest amount of land. That's what I resell to the big box stores for 800 times what I paid, $1 billion. And the most crazy ideas that people have come up with are the most simplistic. I got to hang out with Lamborghini for quite a while. We went and toured India together, doing commencement speeches at the universities. And I said, how in the world did you guys create this brand? And he goes, Greg, all you got to do is create a product, good, or service that people save their money to happily hand it to you. I go, what do you mean? He goes, no one's saving their money to buy your book. He goes, but they'll cash in their 401k to drive my car. He goes, you're not going to spend $4,000 a night to live in your own apartment, but you're going to go to Anaheim and give it to a mouse with big ears. all day long with the family's vacation money. He goes, if you
Yes.
create a product, good, service, or experience that people save their money to give to you, you'll never run out of cash.
Mm-hmm. So, they're so simple. It almost goes over my head, like if you don't really think about what you're saying, because the time plus land equals money. That's 100%. I love the simplicity of drawing the line off of a main street, and that's what it is, and that's what we do for vacations and for time and that.
So this book, basically what happened is I went around, interviewed these people, and we deduced and reduced what they said to one page. So if you want to learn how gold works, the internet thing, it's one page. It's a bathroom book. You just open it up to a page and you're going to get a wealth hack to tell you exactly how that thing works. And it's really simple.
That was 3 years of your life.
Yeah, well, it's 3 years, great 3 years. And now we're gearing back up. Things are open. We're going to be doing Secret Knock in September, which we are ecstatic about. I got so tired of coaches and teachers and mentors, and people said, I want to meet your friends that you're hanging out with and doing these interviews. So we started this event. So basically the way it works, it's really weird. I'm going to tell everyone up front. You have to go to the website and apply to go. You can't pay for anything. You have to go apply. And once you do, someone calls to make sure you're a fit, that we can bring value to you, that you can bring value to us, that you're normal, that you're cool. And once you're a good fit, we take your tuition, but we will not tell you where it is or who will be there. Nothing. We just tell you the city, state, and the date, and you got to figure it out.
And then Secret Knock.
Yeah, and then once we get closer to the event, we'll leak the secret location. But like last time, I brought in President Vicente Fox, and he did not want Secret Service, so he flew in from Mexico. We did a private Skype with Edward Snowden while he's hiding in Russia. We brought in all these amazing, Oscar-winning people, and it's so cool because everyone's treated the same. There's not even name tags. Once you're there, you're there. You're just you. You have to go up and meet all these amazing people, and we keep it very small, like 300 people, and you get intimate hanging out, having tacos. If you want to start a clothing line, here's a guy who did UGG boots. If you got an invention, here's a guy who made that little magnetic strip on the back of a credit card. If you want to play games, over here's a guy who did Pictionary. What would it be like hanging out with people who've actually accomplished and they're cool? Something you've always dreamed. And that's what Secret Knock's all about.
Oh, I love it. Hello. You're listening to the 5 Talents Podcast. I'm your host, Abel Pacheco. If you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you're serious about achieving financial freedom. Are you ready to create your own path through multifamily investing for yourself and your family? Then I know you're going to appreciate our Investor's Guide to Multifamily Investing. It's titled Tackling Commercial Real Estate the Easy Way. We use this guide to invest ourselves in $93 million worth of real estate. So we're going to show you the basic mechanics of multifamily syndications and how to evaluate your next passive investment opportunity. So the best part, if you subscribe to our podcast now, leave us a review and a rating. I'm going to give you a free copy of our ebook. So please take a moment to do that now. Once you've done that, go to 5tcre.com/ebook, 5tcre.com/ebook. Make sure to let us know you left a review, and we're going to send you a free copy. So thank you so much for subscribing to the 5 Talents Podcast. We really appreciate it. How long have you been doing that for, Greg?
We're new, 15 years. We are Forbes magazine, Inc. magazine, Entrepreneur Top 10 event in the world. We're the greatest event you cannot go to. You have to be invited. You have to go, go fill out an application. And people watching this right now saying, I want to go, apply and check it out, because it'll separate yourself from the 95% are dreaming to the top 5% who actually accomplish what most people are just talking about.
Yeah. Out of all the interviews and everything you've done, I know there's multiple books that are going to talk about this. Give us some of those things that we should stay away from, that we, just in our minds or actions. What the heck should we not be doing?
Well, I will reframe that a little bit, because I give a positive aha on something that I should have been doing differently when I was younger.
However you want. However, you're the expert in this area, brother.
CPC. If anyone's going to write something down, you should be writing this down right now. The letter C, P, C, CPC. It's an acronym, and it stands for clues, C, P, patterns, C, choice. I think my whole life would have been different if I learned this earlier. And it's so simple and brilliant, but it works like this. It's accountability, responsibility for every single thing that happens. It is your fault. Stop blaming other people. If I go out on a first date, I'm a single guy, the woman shows up 20 minutes late, anything could have happened. But there's a little red flag, and that's a clue. But if I continue to see her on the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th date, every single time she's 20 minutes late, come on, that forms a P, a pattern. Now, it's my C choice whether I deal with it, I yell at her, break up, but it's not her fault. She's just late. Stop trying to change people to fit in your own little freaking paradigm box. But we'll see someone with a bad reputation in business. They cheat your best friend. You do business thinking it'll be different. Things go wrong, and then you're mad at the person. You saw the clue, you saw the pattern, you made the choice. It's like seeing a rattlesnake rattle, bite your kid's sister. You go to pet it, get bit, and you're mad at the snake. Looking back, rarely are we going to be angry at the relationships that failed or the business negotiations that fell through. We're just mad that we stayed in too long because we saw the clue, we saw the pattern, but we made our choices late. The most successful people on the planet are constantly looking for the clues, the pattern, so they can make their choices right on the spot.
Yeah, what a very simple, very real and actionable statement, when you look at it, because that's what life is, right? It's a series of these clues, of these patterns, of our choices. And every single day there's a new stimulus and it's a new response. And if you choose the same old response, I'm just going to stay in the same relationship, job, business position, and don't make the choice to change based on the clues or the patterns, then nothing ever changes. I mean, it's literally the same, right? So yeah. That's
well,
awesome.
we're on a hamster wheel. When I did thoughts or things with Bob, it was really interesting. We went around thinking that it was all going to be this ethereal. You think something and magically comes to be. It didn't. Actually, thoughts only backed by action become realities. How many times have we had $1 million idea in the shower? By the time we brush our teeth, it's down the drain. 10 years later, we see it on a billboard going, I had that idea. The only difference is someone took action with that concept that was put into the ethers. And so we also talked to top neuroscientists and physicists, and they said we have 64,000 thoughts a day. Unfortunately, most of them are ants. It means automatic negative thought, the reptilian part of your brain to protect you, to keep you safe. So if we have 64,000 thoughts a day and majority are negative, then everything should be horrible in our life, but it's not. It's only the thoughts in which we took our action become our truth. How many times have we driven home saying, I'm going to get home and they're going to say this. I'm going to say, oh yeah. And they're going to say, yeah. You have this whole conversation, you get home, never happens because our thoughts are not things. It's only our thoughts that we do something about. If thoughts were things, I'd be a slice of pizza right now. I'm hungry.
That's awesome. So the thoughts are things, thoughts backed by actions. I can want to manifest something as much as I want, but if I don't ever take an action, it's not manifesting anything into reality. But the reason we can manifest things is, I think about it, I write it down, I put my plan into action, I take action, and then every single day take a little bit of more action in the direction that I want to go. The thoughts are things. Maybe give us a couple of additional nuggets from this. What else should we be reading in this book that will change our life, that you can give me on a quick podcast interview right now?
I know, and they keep going and keep going. There's so many of these little golden.
Yeah.
I'm gonna segue a little bit to
that's fine.
One little aha, because I have a feeling, because it all ties together here.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's our thoughts backed by action that creates our reality. We do not attract what we want in life. We only attract more of what we already are. That's it. So have you ever met someone not as smart as you, but they have more success? Or
yes.
someone not as good looking, have a better looking spouse, and go, what are they doing differently?
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for me. I'm a pretty good looking guy, but we got the good haircut, like we talked about earlier.
That is the key. So all the thing that's doing is they're vibrating in a different level.
Yes.
And what they're doing is putting it out to, again, to the ethers of what it is that they want, but they're taking the necessary actions, like my first original quote was talking about. you can tell, people say, well, I can tell everything I need to know about you by who you hang out with. That's a bunch of bull crap. Well, you can really tell everything about somebody by their circumstances that they're in. If you sit there and say, I want a Lamborghini, but don't have a Lamborghini, it just means you don't want a Lamborghini. That's the truth. That's the fact. And so many people are not willing to have that courage and fortitude to, look at the mirror, because we all need mirrors to remind us who we truly are. And what we do is surround ourselves with amazing mentors that will tell you what you need to hear and not always what you want to hear. Again, back to Secret Knock. That's why we did this. It's like look, imagine hanging out with 300 like-minded people that won't take any crap, no fluff. We don't no excuses, but we look for solutions, answers, and we give directives so you can actually accomplish what you want. That's what I think the world's waiting for, especially now we're opening up again. We're done. You need another book and a CD, like a hole in the head. What we need is an actionable blueprint and then somebody to show us the ropes. What would you rather have if you're in the forest? A map, how to get out, or a guide? Well, a map's awesome, but if you don't know how to read a map or you don't know where the starting point, you're dead. If you have a guide, you go, oh, let's go this way. Well, you'd follow that person. I think the world is ready for more guides and less talkers.
Yeah, that's so awesome. All of these mindsets are just fantastic, Greg. More action, more guides, more, just help me hold my hand all the way through. Well, difference between holding my hand and somebody showing you the way, you have to go take that action. You have to go follow, and you have to be able to get it done. But
and the most successful people are the most available. It's so weird, and people don't understand this. But if you're brand new at something, happy-go-lucky, you're cool. Top, happy-go-lucky, you're cool. In the middle, pain in the ass, pain in the neck. You're filled with ego. You're edging God out. You're finding your own voice. Jump to the front of the line. You'd be shocked and amazed how many people are accessible because they've already done it. And the way you get access to these people, by the way, is this one simple word called specificity. And I just don't understand how people haven't figured this thing out yet, but I'm going to give you guys a secret sauce right now. Specificity is the key. If I want to get to the guy who created NASCAR, what I'm going to do is reach out to him. I'm not going to say, I want to take you to dinner. I want to take you to lunch. No, they don't know me. They're not going to do that. But here, what's the difference? I need 12.5 minutes of your time, please. I'm going to cover all my own expenses that come out from California to meet with you. From the moment I open the door till the time I leave will be 12.5 minutes. I'll start a stopwatch. I'm going to ask you one simple question. What's your wealth hack? Oh, shut up. The chance of them coming down from the boardroom to the lunchroom to do that is so high because it's specific to the point in the thing. If I'm speaking to a group and there's 10,000 people and I get off and there's a line of folks that want to take pictures and hang out, they say the nicest things. How can I work with you? How can I be of contribution? How can I be of service? I don't got 30 minutes for a resume. If you come up to me and say, dude, saw your Instagram, you got 500,000 followers. I make really cool memes. Let me send you one. If you like it, maybe you'll use me. 8 seconds. I know who you are, what you do, and you got my cell phone. Specificity is how you open up the doors of opportunity, especially moving forward.
Yeah, I love it. And you've used this, you've reached out to the top people, you've had the interviews, you've already had this success in capturing all of these wealth hacks. You absolutely know these work, and you're saying exactly how you did it. Now other people can go follow and just kind of go do the same thing, brother. That's awesome. In that avenue, in that journey of what do you think would help, anybody listening now, like now you've given them formula, how to go reach out, who should they be talking to? I'm hearing number one, Secret Knock, go there first. Who else should I be reaching out to kind of, help someone along their journey?
Surround yourself with people that you have respect for, not people you have influence over. And then surround yourself with people that are getting the results that you want for yourself today. If I was going to open a new restaurant chain, a good buddy of mine, Gene Landrum, created Chuck E. Cheese. But he did it 40 years ago. I wouldn't ask him. I go, hey, who's Mr. Beast or who's Five Guys or In-N-Out or whoever's the hot trend? And I'd ask them because they're getting the results that I want. So the secret is surround yourself with people that are getting the results that you want for yourself today. Reach out with specificity, and you'd be shocked and amazed if you send out 10 or 20 of these little DMs, how people will get back to you, especially the more specific, the better.
Yeah. So I started our podcast, Greg, to give you some idea of ours. I started our podcast in September of last year. We've had 120-ish recordings. What I had heard some advice was, well, you should probably start with some low level, podcast interviews. So get your experience up. And then once you have 50 or some odd recordings, then you start working your way up. And I did the opposite. I think I looked around for the top or most successful people I could possibly find. And I reached out to them first, and everyone said yes. So I was pretty specific. I didn't know your formula, but it was almost exactly, hey, this is what I'm doing. Here's what I'd like to do, and want to see if you show up for a podcast interview. Remarkably, everybody said yes. And I don't think I had very little no's, if at all. And, I have some of the best guests, including, somebody like yourself. And that's exactly what I did. So reach out to you. I heard your story and said, I'd love to highlight it. It is really that simple, but it was the action that most people say, how do you do that? I go, well, just carve out time in your day and make it happen. The action is what most people will stop at, right?
Correct. Oh, because everyone thinks about it and they let their big butt stop them, and not the one they're sitting on. They go, I'd go do that too. And it's that. But I call it a bad case of the one size. It means I'll take action once I get the big break, once I have the opportunity, the one size will destroy everybody. It's interesting. I when Think and Grow Rich came out, the biggest chapter is called The Six Ghosts of Fear. And the Six Ghosts of Fear, they're talking about all the fears from 100 years ago. By the way, I don't agree with these fears because it was written 100 years ago. It was the fear of loss of love, getting divorced. Come on, fear of old age, fear of death. I don't buy any of that. But what I think the new common fears, it's the fear of pain always. So that's why there's so many drug commercials. It's the fear of the unknown, like this last year, just not knowing where things stand. And then the biggest one is the fear of criticism. It's the fear of judgment, what other people think. And if you took that bumper sticker of what would you do if you couldn't fail, throw it away, and replace it with what would you do the moment you stop giving a crap what people thought, everything changes. Everything changes immediately.
You said it and my shoulders went down. I like in the moment you said it, I was like, just relaxing for a minute.
Right?
Just saying it out loud and me thinking about, if nobody cared, I'm freer.
Yeah. And here's a newsflash. No one's thinking about you. They're dealing with their own life, their own situations.
Yeah.
This is the most perfect, ideal time right now to take action with ideas you've been sitting on, because everyone's getting ready and they're fired up to come out of their little caves. And I look at things like a slingshot. For the last year, it's been pulling back, can't go anymore, pulling back. When that releases, you better be prepared for the tsunami of success that's about to, and opportunities coming our way. And so we want to be that person to help catalyst, towards where it is that you want to be. Because I know that if someone watching this right now, is going, that's me. Great. Go to Secret Knock, fill out an application, do something. Reach out right now and to somebody who's getting the results that you want. Go on to Instagram and start being specific with their ask. And you'll be shocked and amazed. I got to get rolling pretty quick, but I want to share one story before I go, if you don't mind.
Please.
One of my favorite interviews was the guy who created Apple computer. His name's Steve Wozniak. And he's the guy who actually made everything. Jobs is the sales, front guy, but Wozniak was down there creating. And I said, how did you and Jobs create so much success? And he says, we embraced our lack. And what do you mean? He goes, we embrace what we did not have. Everyone else runs from it. We ran toward it. He goes, when these little microchip processor chippy things came out, they were so expensive, we could only afford one chip. He goes, Jobs sold his car. I sold my calculator. We pooled our money to buy one. He goes, Hewlett Packard would make machines that go from point A to B with 20 chips. The money of God. He said, I'd pull away 5 and get it to work from A to B with 15. I'd pull away 5, get it to work with 10. Eventually, I figured out how to go to A to B with our one chip. He goes, we were not trying to be innovative or cool or aerodynamic. We could afford one chip. But by embracing that as an opportunity, we found the shortest, cleanest path. And by doing that, we changed the way people do personal computing for the rest of the world, for the rest of their life. He said, where could you be right now in your own business if you stop looking at something as your greatest challenge and obstacle, but it could just be your greatest blessing, your greatest opportunity in disguise?
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Greg, for your time. I sincerely appreciate it. It's been amazing. Let me also steer everyone. So Secret Knock is where we're definitely going. Can you share the website, or what's the best place to to go. Anything you say, my team will make sure to get in the show notes. So what's the best place to get closer to your world? Sounds like Secret Knock, but you feel free.
Yeah, you go to secretknock.co. We left the M off so no one could find us, and yet they still did. And you can go to Instagram. Just DM me directly, Greg S. Reid. I'll tell you this, if you talk about the weather, what you had for dinner, your kids, I won't respond. If you come with specificity and say, hey, what's a good business book I read? Hey, who do you know over here? I promise I'll respond to those personally right away. So specificity rules, and I appreciate you having me on today. You're a rock star.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And for all of our listeners, I know this one was a valuable one. Please go to our go reach out to Greg, number one, first at secretknock.co, and go check it out. You know, the only thing that's going to keep you from doing that is yourself. It's time to take action. If you've been thinking about investing in either real estate or trying to figure out how we go put these deals together, you've heard a ton of real estate shows. You've had all of the right experts. It's time to take action. Go put a plan together. Go take some steps and make it happen. And part of that is reach out to Greg. I know it's going to help you. And then secondly, if you haven't subscribed to our podcast interview, it's time. Leave a written review. We'd appreciate it. And let's just go. We'll keep you on our next show and have a little bit more education for you on the next round. Greg, thank you so much, brother.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the 5 Talents Podcast with your host, myself, Abel Pacheco. Each week, we're going to bring you interviews from industry experts and commercial real estate investors who followed their dreams and achieved massive success. Before you leave, let me ask you a few questions. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you learn something valuable? Was your mind stretched to what's possible and what you can achieve? Do you want other experts just like the one you heard today? If you answered yes to any or all of those questions, then please take a moment to subscribe to the 5 Talents Podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and most importantly, leave us a written review. Tell us what you liked, tell us your favorite guest, give us any feedback. I'm excited to learn and improve so you can get a more valuable show. So thank you again for subscribing to the 5 Talents Podcast.